Hey guys, no disclaimer this week. This week on the new 26, it's time to get down to the nitty gritty and review this freaking season. That's right, grade it. Now, if you've been paying attention to the previous 24 or 23 videos, you know that every video has a rating to it from 1 to 6 scale. Well, time to put it all together and give you my thoughts on the entire season 4 as a whole. Of course, no audio, video, clips from My Little Pony were used in the making of this final Judgement. So in a way it is kind of a disclaimer, but it is a warning. If you do not like hearing your favorite shows being judged harshly, leave the video now. When grading a season overall for its quality, you almost have to have different standards in which how to grade it, which, in the case of me, I do. Here's my criteria for the season grading. Overall episodic quality, meaning per episode was the season quality. Rewatchability throughout. In other words, can you mini marathon it? And 3, whether it was an improvement over the previous season comparatively. And let me get to that first part right now. Season 4 is a massive improvement over Season 3 just because, well, double the episodes. That's the easy part. But the part that makes Season 4 superior is the fact that you have the overall theme and it takes everything that's the previous 3 seasons have done and improves on it in virtually every stature, from the quality of animation to the double-fisted morals that most of the episodes had. Use things like bats or flight to the finish, or maybe even episodes like Pony to Watch Over Me or Leap of Faith. Those episodes have a lot of double and triple-fisted morals to go with them, meaning there's more than one overall moral in each episode. So yes, and the fact that it did have an overall 26 episode main arc that was executed perfectly through the use of alicorn errors, which I like to call the Chris Jericho swerve technique. And it was done absolutely perfectly. And for that, I have to give that grade the perfect 6. Rewatchability and mini marathoning. Here's though where it gets difficult. There are some episodes in this season that are downright back-breakingly hard to digest. From Inspiration Manifestation, in my opinion, Power Ponies, Equestria Games, and even episodes like Simple Ways. And to some, It Ain't Easy Being Breezy's can be back-breakingly hard watches and almost nauseating at a time. But that's only 5 episodes out of the total 26, meaning 21 of those episodes are largely watchable and somewhat rewatchable. And this makes the season definitely worth marathoning in terms of episodic content. In terms of the songs, however, the songs are not as memorable as previous seasons. Yes, the one that will probably stick out the most is probably Generosity. But don't don't forget about Hearts as Strong as Horses. Horses is another strong song in the season. Yes, You'll Play Your Part ended up being kind of flat, and Apples to the Core was a fun one, but the song quality, to me at least, was far less than the previous years. Nothing as catchy and rhythmic as Winter Wrap Up or This Day Aria really sticks out here. Although I will have to highlight the fact that Discord got a song, and it was absolutely funny from Three's A Crowd, has to be one of my substantial highlights. But also the thing that also backbreaks this season in some aspects is characters being extremely out of character, mainly Applejack. Sure, somebody to watch over me is one big offense, but then when you follow it up the next week with Leap of Faith, with the character once again being out of character, it most certainly hurts. This season most certainly proved that Applejack is the character most in need for a character overhaul and improvement. She needs something, anything, to justify her existence beyond just being the honest one. She needs some life poured into her. But also, she is not the only one that suffers from being hit with the idiot stick. Poor Spike. Spike is like that root canal you just want to get rid of because you didn't think you had cavities. Well, apparently the writers totally agree with this and wrote Spike in the absolute worst situations this season, almost making the character borderline unlikable. Yes, he had two very good redeeming moments in Equestria games and also an inspiration manifestation, but at the cost of his own stupidity. Spike is definitely the one in need of a shrink in a moment with Dr. Wolf. He certainly needs help to get his old Stella got his groove back thing going on. In terms of all the other characters, Rainbow Dash is the one that got the most improvement, just as Megan McCarthy said. And all those things definitely paid off for her. From meeting her idol and getting rid of her idol worship to getting steps closer to being a Wonderbolt. Bolton being massively respected and humbled, which is something I've always desired. Fluttershy's character arc from all her previous episodes focusing on her came to a head in Breezy's and was executed perfectly. Sure, she's still got a lot of room to grow as evidenced by Philly Vanilli, but where she's at now, I can't be any more pleased. And then there's Pinky. Well, you can't really grade Pinky. It's more of a scale of 1 to over zany. And unfortunately, the writer said less Pinkie Pie is good for the show, which I can wholeheartedly agree with it. But the times that she does stick out like a sore thumb, Pinkie Pride, she's awesome in it. Mod Pie, she's awesome in it. And Philly Vanilli, she's a douchebag in it. If it wasn't for the fact that Pinkie Pride and Mod Pie are these excellent episodes, then Her egregious in Philly Vanilli and the fact that she was the most obvious plot point ever in Castlemania would have certainly done some damage to her reputation. But she comes out largely unscathed. Hopefully, they can add some more zany to Pinky while keeping her reserved in Season 5. And then we get to the bane of my existence, Rarity. Finally, there are some episodes with Rarity that actually show her having the element of generosity and not something else. But it doesn't help. Even a great, masterful episode like Rarity Takes Manhattan does not redeem the character at all in my eyes. Honestly, I think a new element should be created just for Rarity at this point to get. Sweetie Belle is more the element of generosity at this point, and this season certainly showed that Rarity's character is just written all kinds of wrong. It is the one grand mistake that the Grandmaster Faust has made in the creation of this show, and as more seasons go by, especially without her, the more the glaring hole that is the black hole of writing for Rarity shows even further. Not even one great episode and one great song can save Rarity from doom here. And naturally, I would have to save my fictional beloved for last. And her new change in role from star of the show to some pseudo head leader to pseudo guide and clever nudger, almost becoming Celestia-esque at points, was an excellent change in her role now that she's assumed Alicorn status. And she's got some buzzworthy chicken soup for the soul quotes throughout the season too. But when there needed to be a leader, when you need to be clutch, she's about as clutch now as Michael Jordan was at the basketball court. The ultimate definition of when your country's in danger, she can get it done, regardless of the stakes. And she really shows that she is more worthy of an Alicorn princesshood than even Celestia is. And by the way, speaking of Celestia, less of you, good. Stay in the background, you useless sunbutt. Finally, the real princesses like Cadence and Luna and Twilight can actually be real princesses without being bogged down by your useless trolling. And Twilight is the benefactor of all this. Yes, we lose Golden Oaks, may it rest in peace and command center like Solidarity. But what we gain is a far stronger, more confident, and quite frankly, more likable leader. The Alicorn move at the end of Season 3 was the right one, as exactly I said just about a year ago. And I can't be prouder that the writers made me look like a genius. But by and far, she still has a lot of room to grow, and possibly through Rainbow Rocks, we can have the final move of Twilight completely moving out of Celestia's shadow. That would be my hopes for this movie event. To finally step forward and assume her role as, yes, Queen of Equestria. And yes, Hasbro, I will use the term queen, because I would bow to her any day of the week. Overall, the use of characters and dry plots was pretty nicely done. Scene transitions were beautiful, and having Weird Al Yankovic as maybe the greatest and most perfect guest star ever for a single episode certainly gives this season added props. Plus, the new start sequence is nice, but I do think it's time to retire the old theme song. Perhaps we might have heard the new one at the end of Twilight's Kingdom? Hopefully. I can only hope for that. By and large, this season met my expectations down to the latter, with the premiere and finale being exceptionally great bookends to the season. Sure, things got a little bit less in the middle, but what do you expect when you have a season-long arc? The only problem with the season-long arc is that Hasbro's marketing department couldn't keep loose-lipped enough. But that's no fault of the episodes themselves. They all executed beautifully, while some episodes won't stick out in the greater memory of the Brody-dom. A lot of them, especially the highlight ones, like Flight to the Finish, or the premiere and closer, or even Pinky Pride, or even Rainbow Falls, will stick out as some of the best episodes of the series in retrospect. Trust me, my feelings on Rainbow Falls have changed over the last few months, and I'm proud to say that episode, in retrospect, is okay. So, what does this say? Well, I'm proud to give My Little Pony Season 4 based on the rating scale for the new 26. 6, a very strong 4 out of a possible 6, not a 5. There are too many episodes that are just back-breakingly awful to give this season yet the 5 nor the 6. But where it shines in the growth of the show shows totality, the execution of the season-long arc, and where the characters are, sans rarity, are certainly fantastic. The changes, the new animations, the experimentation was all worth it to give an enjoyable 3 months of television, and I can't wait for 3 months more when we get down to season 5 later this year. It has been nearly a year since I joined the fandom and started doing videos on this show. And I gotta say, coming out of season 4, I'm an even bigger fan now and more appreciative of the hard work that it takes to put 26 simple friendship lessons out on the table. The people at Hasbro Studios and DHX should be proud of their work, although it is not better than Pony Season 2 or Code Lyoko Season 2. It is certainly worthy of mass respect. But now that the final season review is over, now we get to have some fun. Next week, I close out the new 26 with a top 10 list of my favorite episodes of this season, and I give you an indication of how the next 26 will go down later this fall. Until then, I am Nirvana Sparkle. Find peace in your own Nirvana. And how would you grade the season? Leave your thoughts at that whole thing called the comments section, and let me know if season 4 was a winner or a loser to you. Find peace in your own Nirvana. We close this out next week. Thanks for watching.